afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting and riveting, amazing Propagandacast from your host, the Imperial Dane, the one, the only master of propaganda, your lord and master, the one who brings you the only sanctioned propaganda. Off here to 1 vs 1 on Ladoga Karelia. In the west, we got Talisman fighting for the Oberkommando of Germany, Deutschland fighting for the 116th Panzerdivision Winhund, trudging through the snow to assail the American position underneath one only insane DevM, fighting for America, freedom, democracy, holding the line with the 90th Infantry Division, not divisions. We got Scavenge, we got Elite Armor, we got Overwatch with Triple Infantry versus Heavy Cavalry, Urban Assault and Recon Support with Triple Infantry as well. There, we got double Fulsk Grenadiers for Talisman, double Riflemen for DevM. Both players are heading for the southern fuel point, looking to engage in a not particularly titanic clash there, since, you know, it's just reactions versus Fulsk Grenadiers, and DevM might most be able to buy a few seconds before the Fulsk Grenadiers basically clobber the re-echelons in most cases. In particular, the Sturmpaniers decide to, you know, knock on the door as well and, you know, shoot a few holes in it. Reactions, they're falling back. DevM, of course, wisely deciding this engagement is not worth it. It's just going to be a waste of time, and more importantly, manpower. And of course, he's just going to give his opponent free experience, which is not really what DevM wants to be doing right away. Rifleman sent to northwards, so the agency base in this case, to an extent, just giving us an idea like where is Talisman. Obviously, this is sort of what this kind of broad approach generally tends to do for an allied player. Like, you sort of go for this to have an idea, where's my opponent, where's Snippy, because you can then use that information like decide, like, where can I hit really hard and what I should do there. And of course, in this regard, the resistance basically hit like the actual enemy front line of the enemy spearhead. So in this regard, it's not like, you know, he's going to have to fight something crucial. They can just back off and allow the Riflemen to do their work elsewhere and just send the resistance somewhere else. And in this case, they'll be running straight to the Sturmpaniers, in which case it's going to be a repeat here. DevM's going to have to back off because the resistance one-on-one versus the Sturmpaniers are not really in for a fun time. More folks, there's Talisman prepares for a northern push. He's probably also realising with only resistance down south, there's likely going to be a lot more Riflemen elsewhere. So joining up the forces there to ensure he sort of has a chance. There's a Rifleman is a really good move here for Talisman. There go around getting focused down here by double Fulsk Grenadiers. Maybe try and sort of buy some time for the Rifles to go. And there we go. Nice play there. Expected his opponent to split up his troops to pursue, and now go allowing the Rifleman to quickly focus down one of the Fulsk Grenadiers here. Devious play, which is in fact what the name pun. Just damn evil vicious mouse, not devious, but it could be, you know, it could be. You can always just say the D stands for devious instead of damn evil vicious mouse. Was it devious evil mouse? I don't know. Again, who knows? Except DevM, and he's not telling. More folks on the way there for Talisman. A lot of infantry. DevM, I believe that's going to go for some early tech. Probably going to be the lieutenant, 50 caliber M20s and Stewards. The bane of an early German gameplay there. At the same time, though, Talisman, while he's sending forces northwards, quickly realised he's probably going to make better sort of probes in the south, and he's keeping that up. He could have begun diverting forces from the south to assist in the north here, but he probably figures he just wants to like prepare sort of a better battle line. Maybe sort of joining up with the south force and expecting DevM to attack into that and then beating it. But of course, DevM here, though, launching a very deep flank there. Basically sort of looking to disrupt Talisman's focus by suddenly appearing right behind where his front line is. Far behind, in fact. Of course, we have to like consider what he wants to do about that. In some most cases, he might say, you know, it's worth it to send down a unit, but he might also decide it's not worth it when there's so many other troops in front, in which case DevM concedes this territory right here. So this is a, well, pretty devious play there. Pretty devious, pretty sneaky, pretty clever. So, I mean, thumbs up there to DevM. Thumbs up there. That is a deep flank that's, well, deeper than most flanks. We got Riflemen as focused, but they're going to get quick focus down here between Rifle Squads. Tech up there is still happening for DevM, but there you go, Lieutenant out, just to say that. Truck out for Talisman, could be Belgium headquarters, could be Mechanized Regiment. Both, of course, open up different paths here for Talisman and the German army. Sturmpanier to assist here, and of course, he has managed to cut off DevM's northern resource, but of course, DevM's just going to cut off stuff in the south to respond to that. So good play there, but Talisman responds. Of course, now DevM's wrath will be felt in full force as it counterattacks here, heading Talisman's, well, flanking harasser force there. Lots of interesting plays here from both sides. Forces there being routed by the Riflemen, close being wiped out, in fact, with a bit of a rough start there for Talisman, who loses a full squad so fast. And DevM quickly hightailing into an M20 utility car for just more pressure now. Talisman there going for the Mechanized Regiment, probably looks a Puma. But fast M20s. Solid play there if your opponent's really not ready for it. And even if he is, I mean, if you handle the M20 very well, it can still be tricky to deal with since it's just so mobile. 50th caliber following up there for DevM and the 2nd on the 90th Infantry Division. We got Lieutenant Transport, the Fulsk Grenadiers. Charging out the Fultoners up north points, they're being seized, grabbing the fuel point as well. We got the mechanized regiment out here for Talisman, troops reinforcing. We're probably seeing some assault rifles very soon to increase the chance of them fighting the riflemen head on. At least that's what I'd expect, but there's always the chance of being surprised. And there we go. 2 Volker squads have been equipped with a Sturmgewehr. 44. Folks up north, they're defending the fuel point there. DevM's almost got the southern fuel point connected. And we got the M20 moving about again. Note he's sort of using the terrain, he's sort of aggressively high-tailed after certain units. He's not just trying to bash his head into a wall here, which is like what a lot of particular American, well, even overcross players like to do. He's sort of looking for like finding the easiest path and find the softest spot to deliver the most damage. So, I mean, in this regard, DevM is definitely highlighting, I would say, his skills there as a Company 2 player. So using the southern victory point back here from the crouch, going back to the fuel point there, Fulton's moving in. I imagine we'll be seeing a looks, but again, he might be worried about the Stuart light tank hitting up pretty fast, in which case the Puma's obviously going to be the better choice. But the looks, there we go, it's going to impact the infantry and the M20 much faster. The relations in the south now is the Fultoners. This time around, there might be a chance of what, and there we go, we got recon support there for DevM. First doctrine chosen here at the 6-minute mark. Recon supporting up for Greyhounds, airdrop combat groups, Pathfinders, cluster bombs, and other fun things there. 5th cover there, backing up and infiltrate the taking some casualties. Got the relations. Small win for Talisman. Of course, DevM is, of course, as always, laying down the pressure. He's looking for just the easiest path to just go the furthest and deliver the most damage. Folks, the Steam is moving out. That looks almost done there for Talisman. Folks, there versus the advancing rifleman. Closing the match into one there. Good pressure. Looks almost done there for Talisman and the German army. Talisman Bauer yet with the doctrine. Looks almost done. We got minesweepers up there as well. Fulton's being shot down. It's obviously trying to get closer to the Pantherfaust. And then, of course, is just more than happy to just make him pretend he can get within range, but then always just keeps it just a bit further away. So he can't just fire away with that 50 caliber, which can quickly add a lot of damage. But there you go. Looks moving in. Lieutenant without the bazooka there is going to be easy prey here for the looks. I like to Aufklärungspanzer. Jack, they're already down. Lieutenant Dan leads the rest of the men to safety. Or at least he hopes. He couldn't pursue more aggressively here, but I guess he's a bit worried about, let's say, rushing into an M20 man or anything else sort of hiding about there, which is probably why he sort of tried to stay behind the Sturm pioneers there. So he highlights just the respect a M20 utility car can command from when it's actually handled by, you know, a expert player like DevM, because most players would never consider it, but this is DevM. You never quite know. He might not, but then again, if he does, you're going to need for a really rough time. Rifling in there, looks like trying to catch up with it. Getting here the M2 utility car, taking down the half-elf, quickly popping into the smoke and trying to find another path there to escape. Talisman's looks like to have flanked Panther. Sturm has been slowly shot to bits here. More rifling in, looks switching away from M20 with the rifleman. And we got another push southwards here from Talisman through Fultoners, but of course the main fighting scene continues up north here. Wood slowly crumbling away under the heavy, withering firepower of the looks. Back in Talisman, or DevM's base, we got the ambulance out. Looks falling back. As for Talisman, we got resources floating about. Then there's certainly a bit lack of clarity there as to what its next plan is. You could go for MD-34 help with infantry, like Cadenaf as well as the M20 and other potential vehicles DevM might go for. Of course, there's also a very strong option there for DevM. Or Talisman. Not DevM, damn it. Using the southern point here, growing points. And we got the captain on there for DevM. Interesting choice there. I mean, you just try and push straight for tanks here, but DevM in this case favours probably anti-tankers to help sort of contain the looks further. Again, he could have gone for the Stuart for that, but again, he's probably just figuring, you know, if I go for the Stuart, my opponent's going to hit me with a Puma, so I might just skip the middleman out anyways and just go for the anti-tank guns. So some interesting sort of mental arithmetic there we are potentially seeing. Of course, ultimately this is all just guessing from me. Sadly, the game does not provide me sort of deep insight into like DevM's thought process. And there you go. Greyhound was also available there for DevM. He might call it in. Could also be another reason went for the captain for the anti-tank. He wants to rely on the ground instead, and that's exactly what he does. And we do get the Puma, so of course in this regard this obviously highlights again he's not particularly concerned about the Puma then. Although I should not go for the Greyhound. Looks like they're taking the fire from the lieutenant, but still hosing up. They've got Stuart popping in as well. They're catching the lieutenant. A bit of a nasty crossfire right at him. Up north, they fall to this. The rifle squad here. Heavy cover. There's no cover. That should be a win there for the Fultoners. Unless, of course, you got the Greyhound arriving with 5th cover there being added. Close there to the cancer shot as well. In the north or south here, folks, they're heading really hard. We could see rifle squad going down. Close one there. 5th Cavalry's being routed. And there we go. Good work there by Talisman. Getting an early wipe here. And DevM is definitely going to be helpful there as well alongside the rest being wiped, of course. Of course, DevM is going to close that gap with a lot of light vehicles. But now, Talisman there got the hard counter for enemy light vehicles. He's got the Puma out. And there you go, directed here on the Greyhound. Greyhound here in particular, due to the terrain, is going to have a hard time getting out. So there's a lot of, trees in the way, making it hard for him just to make a smooth escape. Even though there's a lot of sort of larger clumps to get it behind. In this case, it does actually pan out. I actually would have figured the Puma there had the good chance, but in this case, DevM actually managed it. Impressive. Seizing the southern fuel pond there, looks heading northwards. Steering upon his Puma there again. He's probably being a bit cautious because I imagine he might just be getting a tad paranoid about Greyhound mines there from DevM. Again, one Greyhound mine is going to mean one Lux or Puma less. I don't think, again, we have seen any so far from DevM, but again, that can always happen. Ready for the southern fuel point. Big push there from DevM with infantry and heavy machine guns. Centre victory point there being seized by the German army, by the 1 and 16th Panzer Division Minhund. And the South forces there being routed as they encounter, of course, a large gaggle of angry Americans. The Centre forces are holding up there, protecting the centre victory point as they seize it. Light vehicles hanging back, and again, keeping them close relatively to the Sturm He's keeping the shoulder moving in the same direction, so he, of course, always keep the vehicles repaired, but of course, keeping yourself insured against any possible M20 mines. Which again, I mean, I might just be sort of emphasising them too much as an actual possibility, but it certainly wouldn't make sense the way sort of he's keeping things about them. But anyways, looks there versus Dog Bazooka teams there. We got our house up with the Camp Sturm dealing with that. Puma ended up dealing with the M20 utility car there. Lots of fighting here. Lots of shooting. Folks are holding out the point. He could try and grab more points in the north, but he's probably worried he does that. He's just going to get pushed off the point and just, DevM's going to seize the fuel point. And obviously does not want to risk falling too far behind DevM fuel. Back here, reinforcement going. He's going to need to drop down another medical supply kit here with the Sturmpioneer. As for DevM space, we go anti-tank guns on the way to the M1 anti-tank gun. Based off a British design. Actually, just straight up just a British anti-tank gun. They just called an M1. Because they quickly realised they did not have an anti-tank gun in that class, and it was just easy to just buy the sign off the British. So, a little fun fact there. Rifle 50 Cavalry repositioned in the south. You got 427 versus 416 victory points, very close command points, or population points. Then we got the larger force here over Talisman and resource wise, it's pretty close. There you go, almost got the Greyhound there with the Puma. Veterans one gain. We got an MD-34 on the way for Talisman to deal with all of DevM's infantry. That's definitely not a bad idea. I mean, DevM does have a lot of troops out. Plus, when the Cindy Armor appears around, he does get something extra down the road. There's to say any M20s or Greyhounds that might survive. There we go. We do actually get the mines down here. So again, there's a reason there for him to be worried about the minesweepers. Again, just making sure he does not say lose light vehicles. They have a medium tank, for example, be immobilized through the Greyhound arm, because again, if that happens, that could quickly become GG. And thing they're being hold 40, but DevM Sturm was going for the centre victory point here. Need to put back with the minesweepers, but that was up close. They have a good chance of the rifle here. There we go. Bob drops, and DevM pretty much just hightails it out. They're realising that engagement's not going to win anything. Up north, big push here by DevM. Twin from Scorch backed up with the Greyhound, and attacked as well there to deal with any light vehicular counterattacks. Good tactical force there set up, but Talisman's main efforts in the south, and looks like there's an incendiary grenade that went off. And what is this? We actually got cautious movement on the looks. Wow, that's an ability you rarely if ever see. But here we are with Talisman actually using it, allowing him to sneak up his opponent with it. Cheeky. But we got the anti-tank and they're ready, and that's going to pretty much turn this into a no-go zone for any vehicles. And there you go, direct hit on the Puma, the 234-2. Greyhound moving ahead, looks opening up there, piercing in someone with its autocannon. Moving up with the Puma again. Good hit there. Small chance of getting the Greyhound here. Small, but does exist. But does risk, of course, losing the Puma, for example, to the anti-tank gun, or risking his looks being immobilized and then destroyed with the anti-tank gun. Otherwise, again, good control in the south there. We got the M20 hanging back here. And Greyhound there in need of repairs. Trotting away with the Talisman. Considering the timing, I'm guessing a Schwerpanzer quarters. I mean, he doesn't have spec ops, so Command Panther stall not on the books at all here for Talisman. So the question is, Scavenge Doctrine maybe? Ostwind's Grenade Assault could be effective. elite armored, though he would have benefited from 2-1 and 2-3 sooner, but heat rounds could be good with the Panzer Commander. Or could it be Overwatch, though? That doesn't really sort of benefit a lot from waiting that long, to be honest, and I don't think it sort of like offers a lot what he wants, so I'm thinking Scavenge or Elite Armored more. Scavenge in part because, again, Grenade Assault for Fox would be great, and there you go. Cluster bombs taking out the MD-34 there. Too much going on for Talisman, he didn't realise it. Nasty kill there for DevM, but certainly great work for them. Less good for Talisman, who finds himself short with his machine gun crew. But he might be able to just go back before DevM gets his hands on it. Up north, the vehicular assault continues. I think DevM is taking up. Again, yes, indeed, he's now going for the battalion command post. That means the media, that means tanks. Flanking the 50 caliber here. Posting it with assault rifle fire and rifle fire there as well. Almost got it here. Spec ops or scavenge doctrine with the grenade assault there probably could have cleared it out. Allowing him to cease and turn against DevM there, but up north, more fighting going on. And the Puma is down. That's a big loss there for Talisman. Means he's no way of counting the light vehicle. For that matter, even sort of slowing down any tanks DevM might get, since the Puma can work with, you know, sort of the basic medium armor if you handle it quite well. So that was quite a blow there for Talisman. That's a big win for DevM. Basically, again, he can just use his light vehicles more freely, and again, there's less to just annoy his tanks. So that definitely feels like a bit of a strategic blunder there by Talisman to allow that to happen. Okay, knife almost done there for Talisman, rather than there being hosed down by the autocannon wielding looks. But quick looks, we got 52 they gained on it, and you fall back in action as well, suppressing troops, very good. Okay, knife out, we have hunted quarters going in the base. Note this time around to the positioning, it's a lot less forward, it's a much more safer sort of setup compared with the previous match, so in this regard he's less likely for them just be able to walk up and destroy. He'd have to be very, very specific about wanting it dead this time around. Like, obsessively so. Sturmpanzer is being routed by the M20. Or M8 actually, that's not the M20, that's a 10 killed by the way, halfway to Veteran 3. Talisman struck in here. Well, obviously it goes, so I mean, some orbital armor with an MD-34 could help a bunch versus some of DevM's infantry, providing, you know, in the more solid infantry corps. But there's still a lack of a doctrine here from Talisman, which makes it a bit harder to gauge what he's up to. But again, I'm kind of getting the feeling of Scavenge or Elite Armored. Overwatch again could happen, but it would just feel a bit awkward at this stage. And even Scavenge kind of feels a bit awkward as well. But it would make more sense, and at least there's something there for them to wait longer with, whereas here it's just the howitzer, and I don't think the howitzer is going to be a particularly great choice here versus DevM due to the high mobility of his forces, meaning it's going to be much harder here for Talisman to catch him with and to deal with any sort of significant blows. Need to get that cannon before it falls into DevM's hands, and the 90th indivision, there you go, almost got an there you go, the M20 goes down, looks halfway to Veteran 3. Another kid now for the Talisman, the German army. Looks to mechanical like fire support, falls they're being routed. Reinhard Granate delayed as a small parting gift there to the Americans. Big flank from the south here, Fulton is banking up. The Sturmpanzer is called charging, they're pushing back the lieutenant. Greyhound going in, we got Ansteng up as well here for DevM. Really laying down the law here against Talisman and his merry band of Germans. Greyhound there closing on Veteran 3 and the ace level folks there routing the rifleman and attacking there, keeps blasting, looks almost down. Up north the folks got trying to flank in, and what is this? We got a BAR drop behind. The problem is, of course, Fulton's upgraded, cannot pick up a weapon, so you're going to have to use that one. It's going to have to use the Sturmpanzers, which wouldn't be a bad idea. Or again, go for an orbital squad, get an LMG-34, and then add a bar on top of that. That's also quite handy dandy. Anti-tank and they're exposed, and we can see the Talisman's going to try and clear it out. If we can get the anti-tank, and then suddenly have a lot of bunch out there versus DevM. And the center push for the cutoff on there by DevM. Good attacks here and there. He's just sort of always trying to be a bit hard to predict and sort of pin down for Talisman. He is like water, flowing freely, and then suddenly punching in the face like most waters are not known to do. But again, that's the key to DevM. Graham there going up full to these steel parts there. Got the BAR, the Browning automatic rifle. Back in base, nothing for happening for Talisman, just healing reinforcement. He's just constantly sort of struggling here against DevM, who's currently got a lot of the map under lockdown. There you go, I get from the Greyhound. 17 kills. Looks very close to Veteran 3. You might want to head southwards there, to be honest, just ignore the northern side there, since that's clearly where DevM's focusing most of his attention now. But of course, with the Cough one there being crucial, that might not be as easy, of course, as I might try and make it sound it out to be. Grenade. Still no clear idea as to what Talisman is planning here. This is DevM. We got 344 versus 400 victory points. DevM's definitely enjoying the lead. Then we got another cluster bomb off, and it's slightly against the MG34 again. It's also right around like the main exit point here of Talisman space. It's just going to disrupt his movements and sort of break up a counter-attack here from inside his own base. The Kedman Clue there absolutely shredded. Devious call in there by DevM, but of course, damn effective. Jackson tanks on the way for DevM to help deal with any armor. I mean, he's clearly expecting some sort of tank to hit him right away, in which case having Jackson ready to deal with that, of course, is a very solid choice. 50 cal on the way there for DevM to just help further contain and control Talisman's infantry by extreme volumes of heavy machine gun fire. Back here, troops reinforcing. Quick grab the medical kit for a bit of healing. There we go. Talisman is still yet to reveal his hand in terms of doctrine. Bit of shooting there. M36 Jackson out there for DevM and the 90th Infantry Division. Folks are moving in now to fire here from the Greyhound. Veteran before getting the looks, pretty handy there for Talisman. And we got Scavenge, we got Jaegers. He could go for the Osprey here, which is going to be helpful as the infantry and the light vehicles. So obviously, it's going to be pretty terrible versus the Jackson tank destroyer. That's kind of the decision making here Talisman might have to make. Of course, there's also the infiltration grenade assault, which is going to be really handy as well, and kind of give his infantry a bit more punch versus DevM's troops. And support weapons for that matter. There we go, do get the Austrian Flak Panzer IV on the way here for Talisman. Jackson going straight here for the looks though, direct hit here, appears on the frontal armour. He could consider cancelling the Austrian here for the Yak Panzer instead, or he could, I suppose, decide, you know, do the Kedem if it's going to work here, and he just needs to play his Austrian carefully. Jackson then pushed back. Fun fact, M36 Jackson tanks was organised into independent tank destroyer battalions. Even more fun fact, roughly before like the fighting in the Ardennes began, the Americans actually replaced half of all the tank destroyers and their tank destroyer battalions with anti-tank guns. MG34 there being pushed out by a sheer volume of fire there from DevM. He's just charging in, and the MG34 sadly is overwhelmed there. But now we got the Austrian Flak Panzer IV out here for Talisman for Deutschland. Continued push there, DevM basically holding up his troops. And there you go, grenade assault right into the horde a bit, splitting up a bit there. Flak Panzer around from the south, of course, it still has to be very mindful of the Jackson tank destroyer. But Ken was moving in here. Direct hit on the Jackson tank destroyer. Greyhound absorbing hit, they're at least taking some of the hit as well there. Almost got it. And there you go, Greyhound down. Osman has managed to dodge his shot so far, pretty good here. DevM suddenly found himself in a bit of safe spot. And there you go, Panzerfaust on the Jackson. Talisman pulling off a bit of a deep flank there against DevM, catching his Jackson tank destroyer. Can he finish it off? Hard to say. He's going to have to push through fast. But this Flak Panzer there did get hit with a snare, slowing us down significantly, and allowing here DevM to threaten with maybe destruction by bazookas. He's going to need to get a lot more force up there. Also got the antenna moving up there, hammering away there from the flank. Betching 2 HVAP rounds, arm piercing rounds there in the south. We've got a full squad pushing in there, forcing away the 50 caliber there, but still, Talisman's assault had some momentum going behind him, but DevM was quickly able to smother it. Nature there, Holder as well. Closing in eventually 4 there on the Fultz Grenadiers. We got repair pioneers that are quickly focusing down on the looks. They definitely need to get that Osman fixed as well there, because that's going to be really crucial, I think, or adding some heavy damage to DevM's infantry. Back here, healing enforcement. Got a Shrem tank following up there, very good decision. And Fultz there being flanked, good move there by DevM, ending the 5th caliber, and Talisman pretty much seeing where this is going to go, immediately hits the retreat button. Good unit preservation there. And so I need a good deal of unit preservation, just looking and engaging and looking, well, is there anything I'm gaining from this? If not, you probably just hightail. And even then, like, at some point, you'll just ask, like, have I gained enough as I can realistically expect to gain, and then hightail it. Like, there's always a sort of thing you need to ask as well. Because sometimes you just end up throwing away a unit into some really weird spots as well, when you weren't really going to gain anything from it. But there you go, Flak Punch going in here. There you go, M1 turning up the Flak Panzer there, pushing it down to almost half over there. Go the 50 caliber crew does expire there. 6 kills on the Flak Panzer, certainly showing that it can be quite effective now, of course, after the buffs. And note they did apply to the Ostman one. There was some initial uncertainty as to that, but yeah, basically the Orbital Command vs Flak Panzer Ostman basically gained the same buffs as the Wehrmacht one, of course. It just also has Veteran 4 and Veteran 5, though we haven't really seen a lot of Orbital Command Flak Panzers, so yet we'll see how that actually ends up looking like when the buffed Ostman hits 24 by 25, though I can only imagine it's going to look very, very impressive for the German player and a bit out of a nightmare for the Allied player. More Raketnevs there for Talisman. He's clearly realising he's going to have to rely on Raketnevs. I'm trying to ambush here DevM's vehicles and that way just knock them out. It's going to be a bit tricky there, and it's going to be involving a lot of good screening and supporting, though of course at the same time in a manner that doesn't go away. He's got Raketnevs running about there. In the south, he's got full support about the major ground, the southern victory point. He's got the northern one. Again, good maneuvering there by Talisman. He sort of sees the picture sort of the map in a larger sort of sense, then instead of just focusing on like where his opponent is, he's also looking where he isn't. So we're trying to make progress there. In the south, though, here, focus though sadly took a massive hit there from the Sherman, wiping it out entirely there with a bit of machine gun fire to mob up the last survivor. Looks there by the way, ace level, 21 kills. Flak Panzer good to go once more. There you go, big push here again with a spotted and setting up. If Talisman could someone get down to anti-tank, that'd be great. And there you go, Flak Panzer flanking. Though there's the Sherman, it's not going to matter. But again, if you can get the anti-tank gun, that'd run him with a lot of firepower here versus DevM's armor. Almost got the 8 anti-tank gun, and suddenly just getting rid of that one. It's also going to be big for him. Grenade assault off here. Ravnet taking heavy damage. Not all part working out there, still getting kills him. Got more forces in there. Sherman, oh dear, engine out. Jackson charging to push away the Flak Panzer. Further casualties up north here. Brutal skirmishing. Got cluster bombs off. Fulton's got wiped out there for Talisman. Got manpower floating. He might want to consider some orbital out, and then goes some more Fulton's. Jaegers, I think, could also work out. Fulton was there wiping out the 8 anti-tank gun crew there. Might have tried to get close enough to Panzerfaust, didn't work out. Raketnev crew shattered beneath a carpet of cluster bombs. Oh, it does end up expiring there. Interesting. Well, that's abandoned, but should be able to something you can secure. Flak Panther falling back here. Jackson charging in. Luke's trying to get away here. Flak in place with opening up on the side of the Jackson. Almost got it. Still on Pilots moving ahead here. Half H affecting fleet retreating as well. Brutal fighting here between DevM and Talisman. Brutal. Ruthless. Slightly insane. Close to the charging here. Jackson looking to destroy there. Talisman's tank destroyer. Luke's moving ahead here. Maybe to draw attention. Give him time to maybe finish off the Jackson here. Engine out. Engine out. Raketnev's moving in. MG-54 covering up. Still probably getting to get some troops at southwards. More Raketnev of the Talisman. So many Raketnevs. That's going to be his 4th total. Yeah, that Jackson tank destroyer is likely going to go in flames. The Sherman there by still standing abandoned. And there you go. Jackson tank destroyer up, opening up now room for the Lukes and the more importantly the Ostman to have a lot more freedom movement versus DevM, and that could certainly give Talisman a chance to get into the game proper. There you go, Flak Panzer good to go. We got cluster bombs again. He definitely loves those cluster bombs. A reasonably cheap sort of counter to most infantry movements and harassment. And there we go, do get some Jaegers. Still would like to see some orbs at some point there from Talisman, but that's just me. Troops on center getting coast, reasonably up to fix up the Sherman. Let's take fire there. We got the anti-tank gun ready to back it up. Almost got a Rav squad wipe there. Forces the enough to upgrade, but there you go. Flak Punch on the move. Tree shattered, snow removed. Very, very close to Vector 2, which of course increases its rate of fire by a bit, and of course also very crucially increases anti-aircraft capabilities. Continue to push southwards there for Talisman. Very good, very good. Got to keep the larger scheme in mind. Rather than getting blasted by the Flak Panzer. Very close to Vector 2. And there we go. Vector 2 game, but there going to tank and sort of sneaking a hit there. 12 kills Vector 2. Jaegers in the center, pushing forward, but lacking a smoke grenade. They can't really sort of protect themselves from the 50 caliber machine gun fire, hitting the southern victory point and the southern munitions point. Very good. Of course, got the northern one as well, but DevM still has plenty of fuel compared to Talisman, due to just really good map control for quite a bit of time there. Looks moving in there. Oh, he's going to need something with a bit more punch to take out that Sherman. I like the attempt though, but arguably a tad too ambitious. You might actually want to try and launch a flanking assault from the south because, right, well, except for the mine, of course, but most of the defenses are pointing northwards there, and of course the mine there would have pretty much just clipped the wings of Talisman southern flank if we were to try that with at least a vehicle, which is what I'd, suggest. Sherman halfway there for DevM, counter in the south there. Austin moving in. He might just be able to successfully bait him into the mine there, which again would be really bad news there for Talisman. And with the level of health of Scout, that would probably destroy it. 13 kills. Looks bring up the engaging machine gun crew there. Bazooka teams in the Whatnot moving in, Flak Punch moving in as well. Another Sherman out there for DevM and for the 90th Infantry. Oh dear folks, they're swarmed by a lot of troops from them in the south. Could try and see some of the northern points there, to be honest. Looks flanking a use in the village there. So the northern half sort of hit there. Well, centre and locking camp. I guess it's less of a village, more a locking camp. Yak Panzer over Talisman up to deal with armor. No, cancels it for Panzer 4. I can see that. Though I could also see a Yak Panzer actually being good here, but Panzer 4 certainly also works out. Sherman rifle tank from the south. Or we could all just try and set up for a Panther instead. I think that could have been also a very solid choice here. Until when it's already a bit behind in terms of numbers, a Panther tends to sort of equalise better. Of course, that'd take a bit longer to get out, but I figure it makes sense. Still gaining control of most of the victory points again. We got 152 versus 400. DevM still has a fat lead over Talisman here, and Talisman is still under a lot of pressure from DevM, who's just been smoothly guiding the match here a lot of the time, and Talisman is just struggling to deliver something these sort of seriously crippling blows to DevM without necessarily also taking similar himself, so he can actually push more terrain, sort of gain an upper hand. Seeming like he does make some good pushes. DevM is usually in a position to just quickly counterattack and gain control again. 24 kills on the ace looks. We got the Sherman moving up here. Third Sherman for DevM. That's going to be a real problem there for Talisman. That's going to be a lot of tanks, a lot of firepower. And again, he's got triple Academy-Members, which set up correctly might be able to do it, but at the same time it's going to be able to then come down and predict it, and he just attack from so angles, so he might still have some issues. Academy-Members, Panzer 4, Luke's moving in, Flak Panzer hanging back from the center, that's moving up there as well. Going there for the Sherman, half health already, very good. Luke's been going here for the anti-tank, he could wipe it out, in which case again he could turn it against here. DevM, 50 cover goal takedown, we got the Flak Panzer ramming as well. DevM are taking some significant support and losses there. Actually, that's could again be pretty big here for him. Cluster bombs called in, they're trying to maybe stop the Panther 4 from pursuing. Not bad. Some of their Flak Panzer got Luke as well. Then might see what on the captain. More doing pioneers as the first squad got wiped out. Sherman flanking up behind. Kept trying to catch up with this. Infantry at the same time dealing with any follow-up infantry. Sherman down to half health. Panzer 4 moving in. DevM here might have gone 2-0 confident here versus Talisman. At least made a wrong call. Could see the Sherman go down, but no. Oh, yes, it does go down. It does go down. Sherman attack from the other side here. Infantry following up. Will probably try to reclaim the support weapons. Intense attacks here on several sides. The Kedma was not on the Sherman. Could see another Sherman blown up. That'd be huge for Talisman if that happened. No, it does back away there. And in the centre, we got another flank here. Looks almost down. Panther 4 for Kedma quickly turn about to deal with this assault. Shots bouncing off here. Major being slaughtered by the Flak Panzers. Slowly approaching the halfway point of 83, but it's not quite there. Still, the Sherman here's hanging about, and there go. Might see it go down. No, the main gun of the Panzer 4 is out. The main gun is out. Infantry up north continues the assault here. Osman running fire support there. Panzer 4 goes down. Too slow to get it out of there. Or some pathing issues, most likely. Panzer 4 down. A significant blow for Talisman. He got one Sherman for one Panzer 4. And he didn't even get the anti-tank gun. Nah, I don't think there's a particular good trait there for him, sadly. He can salvage probably the Sherman. Nope. Sherman, he can't. Well, he has already done it either way. But the loss of the Panzer 4 there is going to hurt Talisman. If he's able to, keep it alive with a lot more tanks, that would have been great. And again, this is where, again, a Panther might just have been a bit better as it is. Again, overall a bit harder to kill. But that's that. He's still doing a lot of damage to the DevM. He still at least took out one tank. But the problem is, of course, DevM still has so many resources. One tank is easily replaced. I mean, it's certainly not something that's going to keep DevM awake at night. Quick selling here the Panzer 4 for extra fuel. Very good move there by Talisman. Of course, saying the Doctor. He does also get more munitions for, some grenades or other things he'd like to toss in DevM's general direction. Besides insults, that is. So using the southern mix point here with the Fulskers Kedma coming up. of North 5th Cavalry as the Major. At least he got that one in his hands. But again, it would have been great for Talisman if we got the anti-tank. At least for DevM, again, it's great. He avoided losing the anti-tank to Talisman, since again that made things a lot harder for his Shermans and his Jacksons. But there you go, Sherman up. Kevin needs to get away, or at least into a safe position. Accelerating down here. Using the Major for that, very sneaky, and wipes out the 5th Cavalry just garden. Good work there. At the same time, I got the flank here from the Sherman. Need to be careful not to extend it, of course. He's already lost one Sherman to that, but at the same time, note he's attacking from several angles with several forces, making it much harder for Talisman just sort of lock it down with the anti-tank and just stop it. So again, very well executed assault here, and it's going to be quite a bit of a skillful effort here from Talisman to then stop it. We got the Sherman team from the north here, getting behind some support weapons for Kevin routed already. In the south, for Kevin the routed as well there. DevM Steamroller is just hammering away there at Talisman from numerous angles. Brutal and effective. Anti-tank there could get wiped out, but the question is what we'd have to recruit with to turn it against DevM's anti-tank. He would have to sacrifice the Jaegers here. Flak Panzer looks hammering away there. He's got two Kevin moving up there. Anti-tank being destroyed. We got cluster bombs in as well to make things harder here for Talisman again to break up the pursuit possibly of the Shermans with kidnappers. Very close to the fleet on the Flak Panzer. Flak Panzer need to be careful here. We got a lot of fire being exchanged. They've also got a lot of high explosive rounds. Clearly down there was ready here for that. So the stuff there gives the Flak Panzer a better chance of survival. We've got Panzer and the Sherman here. Absolute just high intensity fighting here as DevM's assault is finally being called off. He did suffer some casualties. He was able to still do a lot of damage to Talisman. More importantly, push him away though. Again, if he can get his hands on that anti-tank gun, that could prove to be crucial, I think, for Talisman. Great to deal in the looks, but again, he's still firing high explosive rounds. There's been too much for him DevM to manage there, and he's still firing high explosive rounds, which, while great as names and support weapons, is less amazing as the looks of the Flak Panzer. We've got a massive counter-attack here to facilitate the escape here of the Sherman. Very good move there. Of course, grenade assault here pretty much breaks it up a bit there, giving Talisman some perhaps less opposition for future pushes, at least for a brief while. 32 kills, and that looks has really been doing great work there for Talisman. He's actually increasing the rate of the looks go that far, but good work there for Talisman. Osman good to go as well. Well, he should be good to go. There we go. Some more round would be good again. A Panther could be in here, maybe a Yak Punch instead with better range and rate of fire. And again, considering the way that DevM's handling his infantry, then tanks, then again, maybe a Panther better. Just has to be careful not to get too close. It's just an utterly intense match here. Right, we got the Flak Panzer here. Again, very close to victory. We can get to victory 3. That of course be huge here, since just better rate of fire by a large part. And again, Veteran 4 and then Veteran 5. Again, Veteran 4 is probably going to be the big one. I mean, high damage on a weapon with that much damage output already is going to be quite uncomfortable for any infantry to be fighting itself in. Though he's certainly not be able to grab the anti-tank gun. But there you go, DevM's going to ensure he doesn't get it, because DevM realises if Talisman gets that, his Shermans might not quite have as smooth as ride as he'd like to. Jaegers heading southwards. He's very close to the Jaegers level there, very close. He's got 2 victory points, got down to 350, while he's at 124. And there we go, nabbing the anti-tank and seizing the M1 for Deutschland. Third Sherman on the way there, fixing up the Sherman there. Oh my, he's setting up for a deep flank though. He's really setting up deep flank. He's taking advantage of Talisman everything in the territory to access it up, so sort of get as close as he can to theoretically his territory and sort of his rear lines by setting up there. That's devious. That's really devious. That's really good though. 2 thumbs up to down there. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. That's a sort of action I like to see. Good flanks. And he's just preparing this. He's just planning this. He's not in a particular rush. He's got most of the victory points. He can sort of casually set out for this. He can just have 2 Shermans doing nothing. He sort of just lays up for just a real big walloping of Talisman. It's going to come down to some really good skill there for Talisman and survive this. And again, he's utterly unawares. He's just blind to the threat that lies in the north. And we got 4 Shermans up by the way. This DevM's just lining up for a massive armoured assault. Holy smokes. And again, he's just trying to set up with defensive zone here with his anti-tank to stop this. But the problem is he's going to be attacked from so many angles. He's going to have a hard time countering fire. There you go. The assault goes in here. Anti-tank is opening up. Flak Panther being focused down here. DevM going for the priority target here. Basically bypassing the anti-tank. Going to have a time catching up. 1 Sherman almost down. There you go. Gets one of the Shermans as Flak Panther explodes. His looks almost down as well there. There's still 3 Shermans to go there as they're rampaging through Talisman's lines. Anti-tank as they're trying to catch up, trying to target down here. Veterans 1 there on the M1. Almost got another Sherman there. Casualties being inflicted here and there casually. Kedneff around it. Another hit on the Sherman. Almost got another one there. Can he get it? Will the Sherman up there take out the M1? Oh, he's turning it. He's turning it. Oh, no. It's going to give the other Sherman a chance to take it out. Bit of an unfortunate development there for him. And gets another Sherman. 2 Shermans down, but still, Talisman took a walloping here from DevM. But again, he did deliver quite a counter blow there to Talisman, or DevM. But the question is it sufficient? And with 2 Shermans to fight, he can get another Sherman. He did actually get a Sherman there. That's going to be helpful, but he's still going to need tanks out, and he still needs to, like, you know, gain as much as he can. So, I mean, right now, DevM actually ended up losing a lot there. I mean, that was a pretty close defense there for Talisman. Pretty dicey, but he didn't manage. He didn't panic entirely, and he didn't actually do some serious down to DevM. But probably could have kept a better pace with the infantry with the tanks there. Showing their damage and getting much of a chance to take out with the Kedneffers. Holy smokes, DevM here might have just possibly even thrown the game out. I mean, it's not possible he should come back. I mean, this is DevM after all, but he's just throwing in a lot of tanks. He's shot him as well. Now Talisman is going for the Panther. Good God, though. Good God. Absolutely brutal stuff here. Lieutenant here has the MG-34, and we got another cluster bomb called in there. Grenade assault is trying to catch the captain, but DevM's having none of that. Back here, troops are reinforcing. Going for the center victory point. Folks there being routed. Back here, troops are reinforcing, seizing the southern point. Panther on the way there for Talisman. Folks' MG-34 sitting out. Routing the lieutenant. And stealing back the anti-tank gun there. So now we got a Panther almost down there for Talisman. If we can get out another flak punch and then to back it up, that'd be pretty big. And again, I feel like some orbital dome could be helpful for the rest of the infantry. Either way, Panzer can't fucking fin out. Pin machine being added right away. Very good, very good. Seizing the southern point here with the Jaegers, though they aren't upgraded. Lieutenant stands out a bit. Stands out a bit. Panther setting out halfway there with the pin machine gun. We got 116 versus 311. Engaging the troops with machine guns. Heading south first, okay, members continuing to back up. The Panther, very good move there. Of course, need to be careful not to leave the north too open. So you're not really seeing what DevM can do with an exposed flank. And there you go. Anti-tank taking up deal with the Panther, pushing it back. Somebody here, the Sherman is attempting to. Good move there for Talisman. He needs all the fuel he can get here versus DevM. The more armor he can get out, the better. Another 5th Cub out there for DevM and the 90th Infantry. Show them their salvage. More fuel, more munitions. I'm guessing this stuff is also having been salvaged. Very good. There's one Sherman left here to salvage. That might even be like 15 to 20 fuel he's gotten out of that. Particularly also salvage the stuff he lost if he can. There still also looks like it goes. So, you know, 20 to maybe even 25 fuel plus a lot of munitions. It's not quite going to fully like make up for the loss he suffered, but it could slightly compensate. Now we got DevM basically going for Scots instead, going for self-propelled artillery. Instead of trying to focus on murdering Talisman's infantry. Interesting choice there. Panther moving up here, Major there, taking quite a bit of fight around the northern victory point. Even the centre one is being seized here by DevM. Good plays again, good moves. Talisman is not far off next, maybe to go for another Austrian, probably in small part again, due to summoning all of those wrecked tanks for a bit of extra resources. Again, there's the looks there, but it's slightly hidden away beneath the shadows of the trees, at least it looks like it. Grenade assault here, Captain dodges the worst of it, but he's still left weaker and more easy to deal with for the Volksgrenadiers. 110 versus 293. Heading northwards there. Scott firing away. South is wide open. Townsman could definitely consider sneaking someone down there to harass. And he's getting very close to the flak panzer. He just needs 10 more fuel and he'll be there. Then a bit more manpower, of course. Another Scot there for DevM, so there's been a definite shift there in strategy from DevM. He's no longer focused on the armour so much, at least that sense. He's just focusing on the Scots. Second wave there from potential flak panzer calling. I mean, he could also go for the Panzer IV, but a part of me would not be surprised if he try another flak panzer just to again further put pressure on the infantry and support weapons. Okay, landing good here in the Scots, but sadly it does quickly zip away. And we do get a second flak panzer there for Talisman. We got troops flanking southwards here. Past a mine, previously exploded. Nice little flank here. Jaegers up north as the riflemen. No, MG34 being quickly cluster bombed, forcing Talisman to retreat and again giving them more push than in the north. Something Talisman might actually want to consider, should have considered, would be another MG34, since again DevM does like to attack with a lot of infantry, but also support it properly, so in that sense, having access to like another machine gun could maybe sort of minimise the effect of cluster bombs once the position correctly. There you go, the raids the base, takes out the ambulance. It's not exactly a big loss there for him, but you know, it might do something. Seems like a bit of pathing issues there. Sometimes you'll give a unit of reverse order and it'll still for some reason do a 180 turn on the damn point. Which looks to be exactly what happened there, so I do feel for Talisman. I do empathise, because that one happened to me a lot. The 10 almost taken up, we got 89 versus 293. Flak panzer there going for the rifle, opening up with its 30 similar flak. Jackson tanks there for them to have to deal with the armour. Very good move. Major up north here is going to feel some major pain as the flak panzer arrives to deliver the pain train. Rifleman Academy 50 coming towards the centre, entertaining being host up or moving north to deal with any sort of potential armor assault there. South is still very open. Lots of free real estate there for Talisman to move into, a sort of good flank pass there for them to utilise. Panther straight into the Academy, if you need to be careful not to lose the Panther. I mean, that'd be a huge blow there for Talisman. He needs to get the Panther out, instead he's lying to straight front the anti-tank weapons. We've got a Panther on the other side, anti-tank on the other side of the Panther. That could actually be the loss here of Talisman's Panther in a slightly less than efficient manner, truth be told. That's definitely not good for Talisman. In fact, that's pretty big. On the other hand, it's really good for DevM. But yeah, that was a really bad move there by Talisman. Very incautious and basically allowed DevM to just easily punish Talisman there and destroy his Panther, meaning there's one large threat less for DevM to worry about. And that's going to make things a lot easier for DevM. So that was definitely not an optimal move there for Talisman. Definitely not optimal. He's salvaging it, but I don't think he needs to get a Panther out again. He's down to 86 victory points. Again, he's strong here to secure the other side. I mean, DevM is just utilising his high flexibility and mobility to sort of constantly trounce Talisman. So, I mean, while Talisman still has options, they are certainly starting to look less and less numerous. So what will Talisman do now? What will his attempt to be to break out of this mess include? Scots find there, they're focusing the assault. We got grenade assault here. He's trying to flank from the north, not bad. Got the Osman moving up here as well, 5 kills. But the 5th cover there inside the house is going to be an obstacle there for Zinc. The Kedman's creeping ahead. And there you go, Kedman coming up on Talisman, Flak Panther. And finally got some fresh movement in the south again. He goes straight for the victory point, trying to buy more time against their end. But the question is, buy time for what? What could he buy time for? That's the harder thing to say. And there you go. DevM just caught in the cluster bombs to avoid that, or at least sort of buy himself some more time to respond, or just hope to get a wipe there, hoping that Talisman does not pay attention. Even then he's close actually, even with them and Talisman paying attention. Jackson flanking ahead, the Flak Panther going straight here towards the jugular and takes it out. Talisman's now without any armour. 75 is still like 3 immediately salvaging, but the situation is looking grim and there's huge swaths of blackened snow from all the explosions. And just trees going flying and bits of wood. That's propelled by some unknown force in the south. The force being routed here by counterattack from DevM's officers. Another force comes there on the way for Talisman. Sadly no Obersoldaten. Sadly no Obersoldaten. Major edit, 3 stars there, and another shown for DevM. Talisman still keep fighting the good fight, but it's looking pretty rough. It is looking pretty rough, to put it very mildly. Surprised now to see the Jaeger's actually been upgraded there. I mean, at that point, you might as well go on for the Orbis Lancers. I do believe they are much better than Jaegers, even unupgraded, and only slightly more expensive. And obviously, you do have ambush, and I suppose that could be a reason to go for them. Likely is, but even then, I don't know. And there you go, cluster bombs again, using them aggressively and disruptively. They just make it hard for Talisman to like gain any foothold. He's down to 50 points here versus DevM's 293. Talisman lacks that armor support. Again, losing that Panther was absolutely cataclysmic. Folks are still on charge with the Major there for the centre victory point. Grab the northern one as well. Lieutenant flanking here, good work. Very good flanking here by them as usual. Two flank from the north as well. Captain Luke Rifle moving in. Lieutenant's only going to be quite an obstacle there for Talisman. Still has to get them out fast. Focus moving in. He's just desperately trying to armor Tom. It's down to 28 here versus DevM's 293. Sherman arrives. So we got one Rakev from nearby. There's another veteran 3 somewhere close by, and it's moving out there as well. Plus veteran 3 MG34. Captain routed. More folks there for Talisman. For the German army, there you go, Kevin landed good here on the Sherman. This up is going to need a lot more hit. There you go, Grenadier assault pushing Rifle away. Sherman down to half health. Folks, they're almost obliterated by the Sherman Scott combo. Brutality never ceases. The violence never stops. So there you go. Bit quiet. Seizing the northern fuel point. Talisman still hanging on, but it's only at the very precipice. Can he survive? Can he win? Who knows? Seizing the northern fuel point here. Maybe hoping up. There you go, another cluster bomb. Like, he's getting so much munitions. I mean, he's getting 63 munitions per minute. In this regard, again, this is probably also one of the mistakes of not seizing the northern munition point and the southern munition point. Also, been, you know, highlight. Like, he's just able to call in a cluster bomb strike there every 2 minutes. You did get a Scott something somewhere. I think that's a Sherman, but still, I mean, that's definitely, I think, also been a massive issue there for Talisman, and that's probably getting sort of highlighted as, you know, strategic goals. Like, again, just that in massive influx from nations, again, it's just made it so much easier for DevM just frustrating, or just deal with Talisman stuff. $27 versus 283. Slowly approaching an hour-long match here, ladies and gentlemen. The Talisman's going to pull off some absolute magic here, I think, to make it last longer than now. And even then, the question is if, you know, that would make, he would still have a chance then. But, you know, he could maybe stop for that long. Who knows? Maybe could also win, because that means they have to, like, again, pull off some absolute magic. He just leaves DevM gutted. 25 points left though. 24. Go, cluster bombs ready to go. And again, not very long. I mean, again, it has low cooldown, but again, he's just getting so much munitions, he can just consistently call it in very often. Now the ambulance will wait there for DevM. Jackson blasting away. Another unit wiped out. In the south, unit annihilated as well by the Scott. 24 versus 280. Jackson destroyed here by the double Raketten. Slaughtered. His sheer violence continues. There is no end. 23 versus 279. Cluster bombs called in on the float gunners. Raketten forced to rout, of course. 20 versus 279. 18. More explosions, more death, possibly. No, in this case not. Another flak punch for Talisman, putting all his faith in that flak punch to maybe somehow provide him with an opening to which, you know, deliver that crucial blow to DevM and maybe have a chance at winning. 8 points left. 7 points left. 6 points left. Flak Panther number 3 out there for Talisman. 5 points left. Fulton's about to get wiped out. MG Fit opening up and providing carrying fire there. So he's managed to hold it at 5 points left. Sort going on here. Just need to work. They got no smoke screen, but he can't lay down the go with the Scott. Thumbs up there to DevM. Excellent work. Excellent work. Oh, killing everything northwards from the northern victory point. Black Panther running for the smoke. Not bad move at all. And taking it over in the chan. Halfway there to grabbing the point. Southern one point being as well again. Good maneuvering there by Talisman. If he'd just been able to like do a good job there with the resources sooner. More stone pioneers for Talisman. Flanking the enemy form there in the centre. Good move. Got Flag Panther coming out the flank of that. That might not be enough. We could see the enemy 34 crew there expiring. That does get away though. One man survives. One man lives to tell the tale. Troops heading southwards there, filtering towards the centre. Holy smokes, good hit, and the Fulton's almost taking out the entire unit, and tank and crew exterminated. So yeah, with that, how much of a chance does Talisman have? Sherman number, I don't know what, they're on the way for DevM, and the second, oh, the 90th Infantry. Bravo holding the line here. Almost got the southern one. If we were to rush down to an ambulance, we could probably use great tactics to just grab it. But he's just making everything to contain. To stall. Grenades going off. Flak Panther fire. Machine guns not quite in sight though. Flak Panther's main gun is out. We got 3 points left for Talisman. 2 points. Oh, this is GG. Definitely 1 point left. And game over. Game over. An absolutely brutal fight here. Heavy casualties, heavily damaged on both sides. But in the end there, DevM suddenly proved to be the stronger player, partly again due to a better mastering of the larger side of the map there. Talisman had essentially, I think, over-focusing on certain parts, and that was DevM suddenly kept a bigger eye on the map there. And partly again, just all those munitions proved to be hugely beneficial for DevM in the long game because he just lumped his constantly like spam cluster bombs against Talisman, who never really did anything about it. Again, those deep flanks for the tanks were also really crucial. There's DevM really putting himself to be a strong, solid player here, and Talisman also was really close at times. Again, he just kept falling a bit short there versus DevM. And again, I think part of it was just that Panther throw. That was definitely a throw there, not a good play. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it, tell a friend, tell a family, but don't tell our enemies. And like what to do, you can donate or pledge on Patreon. Every donation allows me to keep doing this day after day, so do please consider. This is Imperial Linking. Cheers. Thank you for watching. Hope you see you all tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.